Very, very cool.
Okay, welcome to Marketing Foundations. This is the second out of a 4-part seminar, whatever. So last week we talked about Google My Business, and this week Matt from Uptick is going to be talking with us about SEO. So we're so glad that y'all are here joining us. And I started thinking about this concept, this idea, doing this series, as we were thinking through just the basic building blocks for Forge. We've been in business for 3 years, and it's so important to go back to those foundational elements of your business. And I thought, if we need to go back and we don't do it very often, I bet there's other people who've been in business for a while that need to stop and slow down and go back and look at the foundations. And I also bet there's people who are just starting, and sorry, there's people popping in and I can't let them in yet. Well, I got to get through this. Let people in. I'm not going to be able to do this slideshow because I can't admit people. So anyways, we'll just look at it in Keynote. You'll get to see the presentation, because once I start doing the slideshow, I lose my mouse. But anyways, so I thought, I bet there are other people who need, or either have been in business for a while and need to slow down and go back to the basics, or are just starting, and learning the basics is very helpful. So that's how we started. That's how we had the idea to do this series. So we're so glad y'all are here. I'm Kim Lee. I'm the founder and CEO of Forge. And we recently launched the Birmingham Co-working Collective, which is an association for the co-working spaces and vendors in Birmingham. Oh, and I can't click. I have to do the button. So Forge is a co-working space. We're located downtown Birmingham in the Pizitz building. If y'all haven't been to Forge, but you've been to the food hall, which most people in Birmingham have, and if you haven't, you should go. We are in the glass above the food hall. So we are a co-working space. We're a membership-based business where we have open workspace, we have private offices, we have dedicated desks, and we have conference rooms and a podcast studio. The majority of our members are people who have been working at home, small business owners, entrepreneurs, remote workers, and now there's a lot more remote workers than there used to be, but are really ready to get away from home, increase their business presence, and have just like a dedicated place to work. So if you're interested in membership at Forge, we'd love for you to talk to us about it. And one quick commercial for what's going on at Forge. We just recently launched a virtual networking event at Forge. It is a weekly event. You can come as, every week or once a month, whatever fits your schedule, but really was a way. What we always have done at Forge is we have in-person lunch and learns. It has switched to virtual now. But one of the great things, besides the education that you get, is just the connecting with people and being connected all over the city at different events. And that's just not happening. And so at Forge, we say we're in the business of growing businesses. And we wanted to add this element as a way for you to connect with other business owners in a way that we haven't been able to, because we're not in person, to really expand your business network, to increase the referrals of your business. So we would love to have y'all join us. We, over the next month, we'll be accepting founding members, and then we will close that at the end of March, and it will go up to regular member pricing. Right now, it's free. So we'd love to have you check us out for the next month and just meet some new people and grow your referrals. So this little QR code, if you're interested, if you snap it, it will take you right there, and you can have all the information and sign up. These are the next 2 webinars in our series that are coming up next week. Jackie Jones, who is a regular at Forge, she is also a Forge member, will be sharing how core marketing shows up in your daily marketing strategies. Jackie is an excellent teacher, so you do not want to miss. And then the final week is with Jenna Curry, who is a new member at Forge as well. And she is actually going to be talking about how to grow your business through networking. She is like a master networker and has grown her business tremendously. And she actually came up with the topic besides connect. So we didn't even come up with that topic, but so definitely you want to attend. We hope to see you at those. They're going to be great. And one last event that I wanted to tell y'all about. Sorry, guys, this is just for the ladies. We are going to have our third International Women's Day event. It will be Monday, March 8th from 8:30 to 10, and it is going to be virtual. But last year was the last time pretty much everybody was together. It was at this International Women's Day event. We had 150 women in one room on March 8th, and then March 16th, nobody came to work. But we have an amazing group, amazing panelists. And also we have been building some awesome swag bags that are really intended to promote women-owned businesses in Birmingham. So we would love for you to join us just for a special morning. It won't be in person, but you'll have great things in your bag to celebrate just like you were here. So there's another little QR code. We also will send all of this out in an email. So now I want to turn the screen over to Matt. Matt is with Uptick Marketing. I will let him introduce himself, but we're so excited. This topic of SEO is one that I think we all know. Yeah, SEO, we need to talk about that. It needs to be important. And it's just like so nebulous, can feel so nebulous and scary. And it's like, oh, we'll worry about that later. But we chose to do Zoom so that throughout the discussion or at the end, we can actually look at each other and ask questions. But if you want to turn your camera off now while Matt's doing his presentation, feel free to turn your camera off or leave it on. It doesn't matter. And in the chat, if you have any questions along the way, please just put your questions there. We'll get to them. And if I see there's a question that's like an emergency, or not emergency, but like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like sensitive. Yes, I'll interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slide sensitive. We'll say that.
That's right. That's right. So, and introduce yourself in the chat, just so we can know who's here, what y'all do, where you are. And Matt, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right, guys, I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I am so excited. Like, this is just something I just have a passion of working with local businesses. And again, I think I've been doing this since 2013, and we'll start in a sec. I guess all my stuff's on the slide. I've been doing this for about 8 years, and every single day is just, it's better than the last.
Matt, we're not seeing your slides if you're showing them. Sorry.
So I got too excited about talking first. All righty. Can everybody see my slide? Awesome. So today we're going to talk about priceless SEO strategy on a local business budget. And when, like Kim said, when we talk about SEO, there's a lot that goes into it. You know, it can be kind of a headache. So I'm going to try to simplify as much as possible. But if you have any questions, shoot me an email after this. I'll be happy, especially like the phase 2 and phase 3 SEO, like the really, what I call like the very technical side of it. Let me know and I'll be happy to help you out as well. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to keep it more on the strategy side and more of the business ownership side of what you guys can do today, essentially. So again, like I said, my passion is working with local businesses to help generate revenue through digital marketing specifically. That's what Uptake does. We would rather do one thing really well instead of 1,000 things subpar. So that's something we work with clients to say, do you guys do any media buying? Do you guys do print? We say, no, we can refer you out, but we just do digital. And that's something we excel in. And again, it's another passion of mine. So I work with about 25 to 30 different clients. And there are 4 others at Uptick that do what I do. And one of the most satisfying things about my job is when I meet with a client and they say, despite COVID, despite all the craziness, you know, we've had one of the best years in revenue that we've ever had we've ever experienced. I've had that conversation about a dozen times, and they say, what can we do next? You know, what's that phase 2 the thing that we can do next? When they change their goals altogether, that's a huge success for us. So, like I said, I've been doing this since 2013, but not just celebrated my 3rd year anniversary, but back in September, I celebrated my 3rd year with Uptick. So quick rundown about what we're going to talk about today. First things first, I'm going to give, I'm kind of a data nerd. I love stats. So like fantasy football and fantasy baseball, that's just something I love. So we're going to give some statistics about SEO. Then I'm going to talk about foundational SEO in 5 steps. I do want to touch on doing it in-house versus outsourcing your website's SEO. And then as we conclude, we're going to talk about upcoming trends to keep an eye on in 2021. and then of course Q&A. Also about Q&A, like Kim said in the chat, feel free to ask any question you have and interrupt me. I tend to talk too much anyway, so feel free to interrupt me at any time and say, hey, got a question, and just let me know, because I want this to be a conversation. That's usually how I function best. So first things first, what comes to mind when you hear SEO? And again, I don't know if everybody's going to talk up. I would love to think everybody gets excited, like, yes, SEO, let's do this. But I have a feeling it's more of a weight on your shoulder. Every single business owner I talk to will say the same thing. I know it's important. I know I got to work with the Google, but I can't. And it just feels like a weight on your shoulder. So that is my goal as a marketing consultant, is to make that seem easy and not as scary. So some fun facts about SEO. And Kim, you'll have to interrupt me if there is any pertinent questions. I do see like notifications, but I lost my mouse. So
I know you lose your mouse. It's so frustrating, but I'll stop you if there's anything.
okay.
But I think we all feel the pain of the weight on the shoulders. Everybody's laughing and nodding.
So first things first, 93% of all online experiences begin with a search, and about 80 to 90% of those are Google searches. And Bing does they get a lot too, but Google is kind of the king right now. And Google, speaking of that, Google will receive approximately 63,000 searches every single second. And 3 out of 4 people don't go to page 2. We have a joke at Uptip. We say, if you ever need to hide a body, put it on page 2 of Google. You'll be okay. Point number 3, 70 to 80% of online visitors ignore the paid ads at the very top, and they go straight to either the map pack or the organic results. But please hear me out. Paid search is very valuable. We see ROI of 2 to 3%, or 2 to 3 times of what the ad spend is. So it's very, very important. However, if we have a company that puts all their money, and I actually worked at a company that they put about $3 million behind PPC. And I was like, if 7 out of 10 of our customers are organic, we have got to focus on SEO. So but that's a previous season of life. 81% of people will research online before making a purchase. And I'm surprised it's that low. I feel like it's probably 99% of people will Google something before they buy it. And then last but not least, and this is the biggest for local businesses, 3 out of 4 people who conduct a local search, a near me search, will visit a store within 5 miles of their current location. So if you have a local business, whether it's retail, whether it's B2B, especially retail, B2B not as much, but you have to get your Google My Business in order. We'll talk about that in a minute. I know we talked about that last week, but it is so important. 3 out of 4 people that search it are going to go to a business within 5 miles. Okay, I usually do this in person. Usually I say, okay, everybody stand up and pull out your phone. But we're gonna have to do this from the comfort of wherever we're at. Everybody pull your phone out and go to Safari, okay? And right now, Google what you do. So for me, I'm gonna Google digital marketing agency in Birmingham or digital marketing. Google what your company does. And then I tell everybody that's standing up, I say, if you see your company on that first page, sit down. And about 4 or 5 people will sit down. I say, you're doing great with your SEO. Keep on keeping on. However, if you do not see your company at the top of the first page or on the first page, especially if you see your competitors on the first page, you need to focus on SEO. You need to talk with us, but you need to put a focus on it. Whenever I do that exercise, local business owners will go, oh, that's what SEO is. They know the 3 letters, but they don't know really what it is conceptual, or I guess what it is in reality. And I'll have people say, my goodness, my biggest competitor is at the top here. So that should be the eye opener for you. I hear this a lot too from business owners. Oh, you work with Google, so I really need to do SEO. I've been meaning to do it forever. That's a very vague sentence, but it's usually how a lot of people talk. They know they need it, and they know they work with the Google. So first thing I do, I say, let's go to lunch, let's grab some drinks or something. Let's just talk big picture. As a marketing consultant, my goal is to provide a holistic digital strategy. SEO is very important, but there's also a lot of quick wins you can do as well. But for this conversation, we're going to talk just about SEO. But first thing I ask, and I tell every business owner to ask themselves this question, even if you can't tell me the answers, you guys need to talk about this in-house. How is business going? Are we growing right now or are we slowing down? How quickly do we need new business? What are our goals for 2021? What about the next 5 years? Uptick, actually last week we had our retreat. We have a yearly retreat. And this year, because of COVID, we actually did it at Forge. And kind of a quick endorsement. I cannot speak enough about how great Forge was. They just, I don't know if you knew this, Kim. We used you guys and it was fantastic. If you have not visited their workspace, please do. It's A plus plus. So it made a very tedious process of like reviewing our internal goals much better because we were just in the heart of Birmingham, 2 seconds away from lunch. It's very quiet and it was everything we needed it to be. So
I did not pay him to say that.
no, actually, fun fact, we actually paid you guys for it. So talking about goals. So when we reach these goals, what does that mean for our company? Every single client I talk to, what are your goals for 2021? Well, we want to make more money. Okay, let's try that again. What are quick wins? Well, we have 3 products and we really want to raise revenue on product C. Great. If we do that, what does that mean? Does that mean we can hire more people and grow our team? Does it mean that we can expand our workspace? I had a client in Birmingham. He literally expanded. He knocked out the wall next to his, bought out the suite next to his, knocked down the wall, and genuinely, like literally grew his practice because he had hit his goals for the past 3 years. On the other side of the coin, what happens if we fail? What does that mean for our business? What's holding us back? We understand where we need to go, but do we understand like how to get there and what's holding us back? Is it a lack of capacity? Is it a lack of talent or know-how? Let's identify the problem and let's solve it. What marketing are we currently doing today? And is it generating search volume? Are people Googling us? How do we know for sure? One of the big things, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I think it's this next point. I'll get to it in a second. But one thing we talk with businesses about is we've always gone to trade shows or we've always done this. Well, is it making you guys money? I think so. I'm not sure. We need to know that. Why do you do it if you don't know how it performs for you? Well, it's just something we've always done. That sentence can hold a company back big time, especially post-COVID. The world is changing, so we need to be adaptable in who we are. One of the biggest important questions I ask is, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Is this just something to pay rent, or do you have a passion behind this? My why is I'm a people person. Not surprisingly, I love to talk to people, and I love hearing success stories. That's Uptick's mission: is we love success stories. And when I talk to a client who's knocking down his wall to build his practice, that is better than any paycheck we can ever get. When he is hiring 5 new people, because he's not just growing his business, he is literally building the economy around him. So understand your why. What is your purpose? What is your passion? Again, this is going back to our marketing. Is it really making us money? And how do we know? And you'd be shocked about how many companies don't know. They just know business is good. We're not sure how. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. What is the lifetime value of a new customer? One of my clients, they sell e-commerce products to veterinarians throughout the country. And most first-time customers make a small purchase because they don't want to make a big financial commitment to something at first. But they'll purchase this product, and if it works, if it really works for their patients, they'll go back and make a huge purchase next time. So that's something we continue to look at: is how many new customers are coming through the door, but are we retargeting those customers? Are we bringing them back for multiple purchases? Because they're going to spend a couple $100s today, but in 3 months, they're going to spend a couple thousand. And in 2 months after that, they're going to spend another couple thousand. And you can really, really drive a snowball effect of revenue when it comes through that. What are customers craving from us? How are they searching for our products? What are the actual words they're using? What are some easy wins we can get? And I think that's, yeah. So those are just some initial questions I asked just to get the ball rolling. My first job with SEO in 2013, actually, my boss came by and said, here are 100 keywords, and I need you to put these keywords as many times on this web page as possible. So it's SEO in the past, it was all about content. And you'd see there are still some websites that have this type of verbiage on the site itself, and it's painful to read. We have the best laptops in the market. Our laptops have the lowest price and best quality, the best for home, personal, best. It's terrible. So Google has grown beyond that, and it's ever changing as well. So This is SEO now. That on-site keywords and content, that's still very, very important. However, it's not the whole picture. Going clockwise, Google My Business and local optimization is a huge chunk. It's about 35% of what gets into the SEO algorithm. Reviews, and we'll talk about reviews in a minute as well. That's very important as well. Providing fresh content, blogging, updating your website, just letting Google know that you have a pulse and that you're engaging with your audience as well by providing new content. Giving it something to crawl into index is infinitely important as well. Your social media interaction is important. Surprisingly enough, the age of your domain, how long your website, how old your website is, that plays a big part because they have a head start on younger websites as well. Your registration and hosting data, essentially making sure your website's secure, kind of technical things like that. And then that last part will be site engagement. Is what you have on your website, is it relevant to your customers? So step one was all about knowing where you are. Step two is your website mobile friendly? And in this presentation, you're going to hear a lot of my discussions talking about your website because your website is your digital storefront. When you have people over, you clean up your house, you make sure your house is in order. Same thing with your store. If you have people coming over, you want to make sure your store is in order. Same thing online. Your foundation has to be strong or else you're going to waste a lot of money in marketing. So at least, it's going to be more than this, but at least 55 to 60% of online sessions are from a phone. And we want to make that as easy as possible for your online audience. It's probably more than 60%, but one of the first questions I ask is your mobile experience formatted in a way that generates user activity? So are people calling you? Are they engaging in chat conversations with you? Or are they sending a contact form? Are they engaging with your websites? Or your website. And how do you know? Do you have Google Analytics or any other kind of analytics software on your website? Google Analytics, if you don't have it on your website, you need to put it on today. It's free and it's very, very useful and it's incredibly easy to install. So get that on your website as soon as possible. Because again, if you don't know what's going on, how can you look forward if you don't know where you are? Step 3, building a strong SEO foundation. How's your website's load time? Does it upload immediately when somebody visits it, or does it take a long time to load your web page? A lot of consumers think that they're more patient than they actually are. About half of your website visitors are going to abandon their session if it takes more than 3 seconds to load your website. That was 3 seconds. So if it takes longer to load it up, you're losing half of your visitors. And they're probably going to go to your competitors as well because they just hit back and then they go to the next result they find. However, on the other side of that coin, for every 0.1 second increase in website speed, retail conversions increase by 8.4%, and online order value increases by 9.2%. If you make life easier on your customers, they're going to reward you. I always say, if you give somebody a reason not to do business with you, they're going to take that reason. And surprisingly enough, load time is one of those things, and it can really hit you in Google's algorithm as well. How's the website experience? Are people engaging with your content? Are they staying on your webpage and reading through the words that are on your webpage? Are they clicking through and investigating and navigating through your website? How many pages are they visiting per session? And then how long are they staying on your website? Again, if Google is putting the most relevant websites at the top of its page, it's looking at all those features, how people are engaging with your website. If you have a high bounce rate, or if people are on your website for 3 seconds and they're bouncing off, Google's going to take notice of that, and it's going to push you down the ranking, and it's just not going to give you the audience that you need. And then last question is, are your website visitors converting into customers? It's one thing to have 10,000 website visits in a month, but is that relevant traffic? Are they converting and are they purchasing from you? Okay. Do you have foundational SEO features in place? So one of my clients, actually, they had a no index tag on their website, and it was actually on their they have 2 websites. They have like a retail or I guess B2C type of website, but then they have it's called shop.ec. and then it's an e-commerce side. The e-commerce one had a no follow or a no index tag on it. Basically, they told Google, hey, don't look at this website. This is not important for you to look at. And I was like, guys, you're costing yourself thousands of website visits from Google just by having that on there. So can websites crawl your website? Can it go through an index and see what you're about? Is your metadata correctly implemented? So, are your title tags in place? Are the meta descriptions in place? All the fundamental things, are those in place? If not, how can we get those in place? And it's really not that hard. We use SEMrush as one of our diagnostic tools, and then SEO Moz as well. Both of those are incredibly helpful if you're going to do this in-house. Moz actually has a SEO 101 guide that you can print out. It's very, very beneficial, and they're continually updating as well. And then again, I keep going back to relevance. Is your website content relevant? If you're picking up a theme here, Google strives for quality. Is your website providing a quality experience for your audience? If the answer is yes, Google will reward you. And we see a lot of companies try to back in and kind of try to trick the system. And that may work for a little while, but in the long run, Google's going to find that, and they're going to make adjustments as well. So we always say, just be genuine in what you do, be authentic, and really put the customer first. If you put the customer first, everything's going to take care of itself. Step 4, I'm not going to camp out too much here because last week we talked about Google My Business. But for local businesses, you have to make sure your local directories are spotless. There's an acronym NAP, name, address, phone number. That needs to be consistent across all online directories. You need to be engaging on Google My Business. You need to be posting on that listing. Google tries to create a second homepage with that Google My Business listing because a lot of people, about half of the searches on a phone, end in a no-click event. So what they're doing is they're going to see if you're open. They're going to look at your hours. They're going to see how busy you are. They're not going to click at all. They're just investigating. Okay. Forge is right down the road. I'm going to go walk over there and I can work, I can work from there. So you've got to make sure Google My Business is in order. Step 4, I guess continue with step 4, online reviews. Again, I don't want to camp out too much here because I think this was covered in Google My Business. But reviews are one of the most important things a business can do. Social proof drives purchases. And actually, negative reviews are not the end of the world. If you handle them correctly, you'll actually win brand new customers. 82% of shoppers actively seek negative reviews. So if you're on Amazon and you're looking for me, like a new baseball bat or something, I see it's got 1,000 5 stars, but I see it has 100 1 stars. I'm going to go look at the 1-star reviews and see what people don't like about that. One of the most frequently asked questions I get is, well, how do I handle my negative reviews? I've got the best customer service. I've got a ton of 5 stars, but I had this one guy that he gave me a 1 star and he blasted me. The best way to handle that is by basically opening the door for them, respond to that review and basically say, Mr. Jones, I'm so sorry you had a negative experience with us. Please know this is something we take very seriously. We're handling this. And if it is your fault, we're all human. Sometimes people do mess up. We're addressing this internally. Please forgive us. And please call this number. Give them an actual phone number or give them an actual email address and say, please email us or call us. And I give you my word, we'll make it right. You have to say, give you my word. We'll do everything we can to make this right. Basically, just, don't get into an argument online. I think we all know the Facebook arguments, especially that every political election, I feel like we had just massive fights on Facebook and then nobody changes their mind. So don't fight with people online. Just say, we're so sorry about your experience with us. Contact us. We'll make it right. And funny enough, I actually have clients that will say, my competitors give us 1-star reviews. That's frustrating and you can appeal it, but Google, I've never seen Google take back a review before. But again, if you keep that open-ended, sorry, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, please contact us. We'll make it right. Just offer that genuine experience with them and just that authentic of talk to us. We're going to make it right from you. You're going to win new customers. And I'm actually one of those. If I see a customer or if I see a company take care of their negative reviews, I'm much more comfortable purchasing from them. This little tidbit, I think we all know in our heart, but it's funny to see it on the screen. Most consumers don't trust advertising. Weird, right? No. Every commercial I see, it's like, okay, well, what's the hook? What's the catch? However, 9 out of 10 young consumers from 18 to 34 years old trust online reviews. It's again that social proof. So if you take anything from this section of the webinar, more reviews equals more revenue. Businesses tend to see a 5% to 9% increase in revenue simply by having reviews. I'll say that one more time. Businesses tend to see 5% to 9% increase in revenue by having reviews. That is an easy win there. Oh no, go back. There we go. Step 5, eat. It is lunchtime, so it's only appropriate that we talk about eat. Expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. Normally when I'm in a public setting and I'll ask this question, what is Google's product? And a lot of people say, search engines or advertising, or, I've heard every answer under the sun. Google's product is trust. We trust Google so much that if I Google, restaurant near me and I don't see what I want, it was not Google's fault. It's my fault. Oh, I wasn't specific enough. Okay. Mexican restaurant near me. Perfect. This is what I want. So Google, the Google algorithm gives the nod to websites where visitors view them as the expert in the industry. So that's what we do at Uptick. We do everything we can to show that we're adapting and we're in the know when it comes to digital marketing. And because of that, Google will give us a higher ranking because our online visitors trust us. They're engaging with our content. They're watching our videos. They're submitting contact forms. They're calling us. They're doing all of the lead generation activities on our website. One really helpful way of doing this is blogging and YouTube videos. Again, it goes back to that fresh content. If you're providing fresh content for Google to index, it's going to reward you. And on top of that, the human side of it, they're going to read that blog article and they're going to immediately trust you. If it's a correct article, obviously, people are going to see the value in your information. Actually, the client that I work with that expanded his practice, one of his primary drivers of online traffic is a blog page. And it literally, people Google, why do the bottom of my feet hurt? And he is up there at the top of the page. And I think it's gotten over 2,000 visits in the past 30 days, just from people whose feet hurt, and they just Google, why do my feet hurt? Here's a helpful article. And they read that article and immediately they're like, oh, that makes sense. Let me call him and schedule an appointment. So, in short, to sum this page up, if you provide a quality experience for your visitors, Google is going to reward you. So next steps as a business owner, start SEOing. We talk with clients, in every industry. Some have the capacity to do this in-house, some do not. So I talk with a business owner and I say, well, why do you hire employees? In theory, you could do this in-house. And if you have the capacity and the expertise, absolutely go for it. However, if you're pouring all your time into SEO, you can't focus on other things like billings, like hiring hiring new employees, building revenue. There's a lot of things business owners go through. You don't need to spend your time just on SEO. So I give the example, imagine running a restaurant all by yourself. If you're trying to provide an excellent experience for 100 customers, but you're the host or hostess, you're the server, you're the chef, you're the bus team, you're trying to raise your own chickens, you're trying to grow your own ingredients, your own plants, you're not only not going to serve your customers, but you're going to anger them because they're hungry. They're not being attended to the way they need to be attended to. And not only that, they're going to leave your restaurant and they're going to go next door to the other restaurant. So if you hire the right team, you're going to exponentially grow your revenue and you're going to grow your business. The same thing applies for digital marketing. You need to hire people who do this every single day, and it's going to free you up to do what you do best. This is something Uptick, again, this is what we do. We'd rather do one thing right than 50 things mediocre. One of the biggest eye-opening things is SEO. Hiring an SEO expert can seem expensive. It could be anywhere between $1,000 to sometimes $3,000 per month. And a lot of customers and clients get sticker shock at first. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's $12,000 a year. That's $36,000 a year. Well, that's also somebody's salary too. That's also, you can hire one person in a salary range, or you could hire a full team, 15 to 20 people that just do this as well. So When you look at it like that, it makes much more financial sense. And then I ask my client, well, what is it costing you to not be shown on the first page of Google? Because your competitors are. If you're not there, they're going to go somewhere. People are actively searching for your product or your service. They're going somewhere. They may as well go to you so you can take care of them. So as we conclude, what to expect in 2021? Voice search is growing crazy. So, of course, Google Assistant is getting smarter and it's being developed every single day. Siri, Amazon Alexa, all this kind of voice technology, it's grown significantly and it's only getting started. Predictions show that 55% of households will own some kind of smart speaker in their home by 2022. And that goes back to SEO. Hey, Alexa, find us a restaurant near us. Hey, Alexa, tell me about movie times, or show, what time does Alabama play? Something like that. That all goes back to Google. So the next thing is long form content, basically long blogs, long articles. I was kind of surprised by this. A lot of people have a short attention span, but if you have long reads of 3,000 or 3,000 words or more, you're going to get 3 times as much traffic and 4 times as many social shares. And the people that come and read your blogs that are 3,000 words, they're much more engaged. They're much more educated than somebody that reads, a quick paragraph. This also goes on social media as well. Long form for now is continuing to grow engagement. You're also going to get 3 times as many backlinks back to your website compared to other normal articles. They're about 1,000 or 1,200 words. Featured snippets. When somebody says the word schema or schema markup, this is one of the results of that. Basically, if you Google any kind of product, face cream or acne solution or something like that, you'll see at the top, you'll see images and kind of featured snippets. This is what we're talking about. This is going to grow as well because it offers structured Q&A, bullet point information, how-to guide, star-based rating. Again, it's Google trying to create a mini website on Google. They want your eyes on Google at all times, which is kind of creepy, but they're continuing to reward websites that have schema markup. And then effective SEO needs video. YouTube has more than 1 billion users, and if you're not creating video content, you got to get started in 2021. And it's actually not as hard as you think. Produce quality content, upload it to YouTube. You can even put $50, $100, $500 behind your video to create a video ad. You're going to grow. You're going to get a lot of user engagement. People watch videos. I myself would rather watch a video than read a 10,000 word, how-to guide on something. So yeah, you've got to start investing in video as well. So as we wrap up, just quick review, boiling this whole thing down to 3 points. SEO is probably the most important or one of the most important sources of your website's traffic, and it's always changing. Google has algorithm updates every single day. They have major ones about once every quarter or at least 2 to 3 a year, but small tweaks are being made every single day. So you've got to stay up or your organic search visibility is going to suffer. Local businesses, Google My Business, local SEO. You've got to localize everything. So you've got to get Google My Business in order and you've got to generate reviews. And if that's something you do today, you've got to focus on Google My Business and reviews. So that's it. I hope this was helpful for you guys. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
All right, we got a lot of questions, and I wrote down questions in the chat so I wouldn't forget to ask them as well. So one real quick one, you listed 2 things, and one of them had a checklist that was for free. What were those 2? And I'm going to send out the checklist. We're going to send out the checklist to people. So what were those 2 things?
There's a lot of different things. You can Google, and this is not the biggest one, but you can Google like site speed checker, and Google has one and it'll run it through. Same thing with mobile friendly checker. Google will provide that to you free, but the 2 I mentioned was SEMrush. You can call it SEMrush, but they'll give you a free audit and then they'll try to sell you on it, and it's worth it. We use it. I love it a lot. And then SEO Moz, they have a quick intro, like a 101, and that is free. You give your name, email address, they'll send it to you, and then they'll start marketing to you via email. I think they have a free version, but we use the 180 a month version as well. And again, that's incredibly valuable for us as well. You know, they continue to be in the know. Yeah, you've gotta focus on that.
So somebody else asked, I'm going to ask you two questions. Well, no, I'll ask this one first. You were talking about like the metadata, making sure your descriptions are right, all of that stuff on your website. And somebody said, okay, what does that mean? How do we do that?
So,
So yeah.
oh no, you go ahead. I
No,
jumped
I
in
was
on that.
just gonna say, I'm looking at the list here, and most of the people are small business owners who are in the category right now. I'm so glad you said the price of what it is to have somebody work on SEO, because it's good for us to know like how valuable it really is and what the cost is to have it done well. But I know a lot of us maybe, or a lot of people on here, like that just may not be a reality.
Absolutely.
So if that's not a reality, so that leads to my second question. So you can answer either way.
Of course.
So one, what, like if we can't afford to hire an SEO expert right now, what would be like the top three things? I mean, I know you said reviews and video, all that. What would be the top three things that we could do, focus time to get our website up to date? And then the other one was like the titles, the data. How does somebody do that?
Sure. So first thing you need to do is go through your website as a customer. Make sure your website's good, because even if it's not like SEO friendly, you need to provide a quality product for your customer. On the SEO side, on the back end, if you have a WordPress site, I know Wix does it. I'm trying to think. Squarespace, all the kind of the it's not the right word. Starter website software. They have an SEO side, but it's basically the back end. You go to each page and it'll say headline, and what that needs to do is that just needs to be quick, like the homepage. It needs to say uptick marketing, piping, digital marketing agency. Um, and again, it's all on the backside. And you can, if you Google, how to create a header tag, Google helps you. It basically makes life easy on you on that. Again, on the backside of the website as well, it'll say like header, description. Sometimes it'll say like alt image, text, basically stuff that you yourself can just type into the back end of your website. And Google, you can say like, how do I do this? I've learned more Googling things, both in digital marketing and like in the real world, like house care or how to parent. I'll Google, should a 1-month-old be crying every 5 seconds? Answer is yes. So YouTube and Google are incredibly valuable. And it's not as scary as you think. The more you get, the more you roll up your sleeves, and the more you do it yourself, the better you're going to get. And forgive yourself as well. You're not going to know everything at first, but it's okay. As long as you get better today, we'll handle tomorrow.
So would you say the top three things are maybe like get all of that done, the titles, the data, all of that, descriptions, and then your Google My Business listing and reviews? Would those be like, and site speed? That's 4.
Yeah. Yeah. If you need to, those are the big 4.
Okay.
And again, I sound like a broken record. It all goes back to a valuable experience for your customer, but that's the most important stuff. Google My Business is number 1. Reviews is 1A. And then the back end stuff is probably 3, and site speed's 4. Site speed is going to be kind of clunky, because like if you're hosting a website video on your website, that's going to slow you down. However, if you have it linked from YouTube, and I saw there was a question about that as well. If you link it to YouTube, that's going to speed it up a lot better as well. But yeah, those would be the big 3: Google My Business, reviews, and then the back end side of it as well. Titles, descriptions, alt image text. And again, if you go to Moz and just Google Moz SEO 101, they'll give you a packet you can download, and it walks you through how to do that.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go through the other questions now. I know, I'm getting back to okay, somebody asked, Lakeithia, you may have to speak up if I don't actually ask this question right, but she says, are there any other tools like Yelp for business and Google My Business, that a company should utilize? Like, are there any other review sites or that we should make sure we're on?
those are the big ones. Google My Business by far is massive. Bing Places is good too. Yelp is very helpful, especially because Apple will use Yelp information for their Apple Maps. So those are important. Randomly having your information on Facebook, making sure your address and all of your business information on Facebook is very helpful. There are smaller things like Manta, Angie's List. There's smaller directories like that, but like Angie's List, that's very helpful for specific industries. Yelp is huge for a lot of retail side. Yeah, Google's king at this point. And again, you can go back, and I kind of sound like a broken record as well. You can Google online list of online directories, and it'll give you a list of about 40 of them. But yeah, if you're good on Google, Facebook, Yelp, Bing, that's a good starting spot.
Okay.
And it's easy. Just make
I
sure
have a question.
on there.
Do you have Bing for business? Is that what you're saying? They have
Yeah.
Bing for?
Bing Places.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, here's another question. This is from me. What you talk about your site speed and your page loading, what can you do to actually improve that? Like, does it matter your picture sizes? Like, what's the optimal picture size that you should have? How do you improve site speed?
That's a fantastic question. So it does picture quality and picture size. Video, that can slow it down. But when you run an audit, it will tell you. It'll give, and it kind of gives you priority. It'll say major issue. And I should probably do it as we, on this thing, but Google site speed tester, and it'll run it for you, and it'll give you green, orange, or red. And it'll say like, this right here is really slowing you down. Get this solved. And you can talk to your website host and say, hey, can we just talk about this? This is slowing down my website. What can we do to get this fixed? And there's some medium issues going on, and then you do have smaller issues that won't affect it too much. But if you see a red notification, that's something you need to work with your website host, I guess.
The host, you mean like go to HostDaddy or
wherever you're hosting? Yeah, and hopefully you have a website or a website manager, or somebody wherever you're being hosted. And again, that's like SEO. I've seen SEO deals like $50 SEO a month. You're going to get what you pay for. You can spend $50, you can get really upset in 3 months. Same sort of thing, like HostGator. Don't host on GoDaddy. They throw it all in one big pot, and if you're in trouble, they're not going to talk to you. That's something Infomedia does as well. They host and they support web. Hopefully you have a full-time website manager and a secure server that your website's sitting on, because that matters as well. So whoever your website manager is, talk to them and say, hey, our website's really, really slow right now. What can we do to fix that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else asked, and I had the same thought. So when you're talking about how people interact on your website, what is like an ideal bounce rate? What's a high bounce rate? And then what is a good like goal time for time on a page or on the site?
It all depends. I hate giving you the open-ended answer. So we will have clients that have very heavy blog influence, and as a whole, they're going to have a 90% bounce rate. It's because it's a blog. They're going to the page, they're reading through it, and they bounce. And the bounce is basically a one-page visit. That's not the worst thing in the world. If you're very blog focused, that's fine. I would see how you're doing, and sometimes you can see how your competitors are doing, and you can Google it by industry. So you could say, website benchmarks by industry, and they'll show you retail should be this, that, and the other. Our goal is to get a bounce rate below 50%. But again, it just depends on the customer. It depends on the website. And again, same thing with duration. I would love to get a website duration of 2 minutes. However, that also may mean that people are getting lost on your website. I've had clients that say, oh, we've got great engagement. They view 10 pages per session. They stay on for 5 minutes. It's great. Well, how many conversions are you getting? 1 or 2. What's happening is they're probably getting lost on your website, and you're not showing them the information they need. So yeah, it's kind of open-ended. It depends. Just better yourself and look at conversions. How many? Again, it kind of all goes back. How many phone calls are you getting? How many form submissions? How many emails? Like, how are people taking the next step to talk to you directly, not your website?
Okay. You talk about video is so important, YouTube videos. So if you have a ton of YouTube videos, do they all need to be linked back to your site, or is Google smart enough to know it's the same account?
I would link it back to your website. Hopefully your Google page is linked to your website as well. But yeah, you need to have it tied back to your website at some point.
Okay. Okay, and can you say the name one more time of the SEM Rush and then SEO? Is it MAZ, MOZ?
MOZ, and I'm actually about to put it in our chat.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah, and I'm going to include it on the email as well. And that's the one that has the 101 guide.
That's the 101. And this, for me, getting started was fantastic. And it's crazy too. If you have a question, just Google it. Like I said, it's really weird and creepy, but Google makes life as easy as possible for you because they know that you're going to pay them money. It's better for them if they make life easy for you as well.
Yeah.
So that link to the moz.com beginner's guide to SEO, it's a great place to start. Honestly, if you brew a cup of coffee and enjoy a nice place, I was going to say a nice warm place, but not in February, read through it and just learn a little bit more about yourself or a little about what you can do for your website. I'm trying to find so it's just SEM Rush. Let's see here.
Okay, and then another question. It says, what is a medium to save the pages of a website? Lakeithia, you're going to have to explain that question a little bit.
Do you just use a flash drive to save the pages? I mean, just in case, like, let's say you
backup, is that what you're asking?
Yes, in case, you're not working with the person that hosted, you need, if it just closed down, you would need a backup copy. And I'm just saying, do y'all normally save that on JPEG, or how do you save it? Just on the flash drive, the pages?
So creating a page is all cloud-based for us. All of our websites are on our Infomedia server. I'm in Infomedia's podcast room right now. It's on our server. And we also have a duplicate site that's hidden away. So I'm going to answer your question like 1,000 different ways. So if like a hurricane were to hit us, hit us essentially, and the website goes down, the duplicate site goes immediately back up. But no, normally, so if you're doing a Wix website or Squarespace, that's all cloud-based, and you should be fine. I wouldn't save it on a flash drive because it's probably going to blow your flash drive up. But it depends where your website's living, essentially.
Okay, that's all the questions I see in the chat. If anybody else has any questions, now is your time to ask away.
And I tell you what, too, I just gave my email address in the chat. If y'all have any questions, if you're like me at all, I'll go through something. I say, I don't have any questions. And then I hang up and immediately like, oh, I did have a question. Shoot me an email. I'll be happy to help you guys. We're all in this thing together. We all got to help each other out. So I would love to help you out with any questions you may have. Yeah. So that's kind of long and the short of it.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen one more time. Let's see, where is it? Matt, thank you so much for being here. This was awesome. So we're going to share a lot of the content that you just went through with websites, all of that, so that everybody can look at it again. And we are right at 1 o'clock. So we want to make sure we are done by 1 so that y'all can get to your next things. So I just wanted to remind y'all. So here are 2 ways that you can sign up for the new things coming at Forge. If you are interested in Connect, you can click on that QR code right there. If you are interested in learning more about membership at Forge, that QR code is right there for you. And just remember, next week, Jackie is going to be leading us, and then the following week, Jenna is going to be joining us. So I hope that y'all can attend, and definitely feel free to share this with others. So far, it has been so helpful. It is always good to go back and look at what you've done and see how outdated it is, and if it needs to be, what attention you need to give to it. So thank you, Matt, so much. Appreciate you sharing your time with us. It has been very helpful.
Thank you, guys. This was awesome. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Y'all have a great afternoon.
Have a great day. Stay warm.
Yeah.